Guys, Tyler Ansman here with Tyler Ansman Performance, and today we're going to talk about mobility drills that you're doing wrong, and we're going to go over half kneeling hip extension today. Okay? So this is one of the most common drills used by athletes, gym goers, everybody, because what can happen is from sitting all day, right, the hip flexors can kind of become short and they can kind of restrict your range of motion going into hip extension. So we need hip extension for standing upright, jumping, throwing, sprinting, all that kind of stuff. So if we're lacking hip extension, it can actually kind of diminish our results on the field. So one of the drills that a lot of people will use to kind of get this range of motion back, or attempt to, is half kneeling hip extension. But a lot can go wrong here, and so let's kind of dive into the problems today and how we actually fix those. Okay, so we know that a lack of hip extension, right, can tend to lead towards low back pain. So what can happen is we have this natural orthotic curve in your lumbar spine. So that kind of means it curves in. Your spine basically looks like an S, with your thoracic spine kind of curving forward and your lumbar spine curving in a little bit. And we want to kind of maintain that natural curve for the most part. But what can happen is if we get excessive range of motion there, we know from the literature that can cause low back injuries and low back pain, right? Those are pretty common issues that happen here. And one of the reasons is when you go to stand upright and you can't actually get your hips fully extended, where does that range of motion come to keep your torso upright? It comes from your low back. All right, so that kind of leads us into one of the kind of common faults that we see with this drill. So rather than actually getting the range of motion from that hip and kind of keeping that torso in line with that back knee the entire time, what we see is we try to fake that range of motion by getting here instead. And you may still feel a stretch, but we're getting that range of motion from the wrong places. So we're not actually gaining hip extension range of motion, we're just kind of shifting it to the low back. And that can lead to more pain and kind of just keep us in this cycle of low back issues. All right, so the other thing is we have a lack of tension in the anterior core. So rather than kind of, again, keeping that stiff upright posture, we get here. If we brace, we're more likely to kind of stay upright. So we want to keep some tension there. And the other thing is, when we're trying to gain mobility, it's a matter of strength through a full range of motion. It's not just gaining passive range of motion, so just flopping in here. We want some tension. So you want to dig your back toes into the ground and think about actively pushing away from it. So if we're not doing that, we're not gaining active range of motion, we're just basically flopping onto our hips and low back like we talked about. How do we make this drill better and kind of fix these issues? All right, so the first way, right, we need a little bit more core tension. So how do we do that? You can hold a med ball here. That'll force you to stay a little bit more upright. All right, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can hold it out in front, and that should turn that anterior core on also. All right, so we got the med ball here. The next piece is we want to make this back hip a little bit more active. Okay, so along with kind of actively pushing into the ground, what you can use is kind of an external focus cue. So we can have, I have a rack right here behind me. You can use a heavy plate on a rubber floor so that it won't move. You want something that's immovable or mostly immovable that you can actively push your back hip against. All right, so it'll look like this. So one of the other things you want to do here is make sure you're matching your breath with the motion, right? If we can't breathe through these end ranges of motion, you don't actually own those end ranges. All right, so when we get out here, right, we're not holding your breath, you're gonna breathe out, take a breath back in, and move back, all right? And so as much as you can, do this with nasal breathing. All right, so we got that back hip active, got the core active, and we're matching our breath with the movement, and that's how we correct the half kneeling hip extension.